Hi guys, welcome to Python. Today is going to be our third lesson. So today, the first thing we're going to talk about is our loops. So more specifically, while and for loops. Loops are used to reiterate code multiple times until a desired result or stop. This means that you can write a block of code, and if you put it within a loop statement, which is like while or for, it'll keep repeating that code until you get something that you want or you reach that stopping point. So a while loop, which is the first type of loop that we're going to learn about, is loops, which means it reiterates code or repeats code until there's a certain break or it doesn't satisfy requirements anymore. So for example, if I said while x is greater than 3 and I wrote a bunch of code underneath it, it would only repeat the code when x is greater than 3. And then a moment where x is less than 3, let's say x equals 2, it's going to stop the loop and it's going to move on to the rest of your code. So over here on the right, I wrote like while there was an initialized variable, answer equals n, and the loop is looped while answer doesn't equal y. So then it prints this statement multiple times until the user puts input and changes the answer to n. When the user put n, this loop ends, and then this print statement will be here. So yay, we are there, and that will print when the loop is done. The next type of loop is a for loop. For loops repeat code for every item in a sequence. For example, for I in word, we'll loop over every letter in a string or in that word. So for example, again, on the right, there's a list, and then for I in the list, so it goes over every statement, every variable in list, so like 1, 2, 3, and then it prints if it's even or odd. And then once it finishes every item in the list, it'll just be done with that loop.
Next, we're going to look at other built-in functions into Python. So the ones we're going to be talking about are length and string. So length, it's going to return the number of items of an object. So if you see in the picture, in the list right here, there are 7 numbers that are separated by commas. So at the bottom, when we put the length of an integer list and we put the len statement with the list right there, it's going to return the number of different items within the object. So right here's a list. There's 7 different numbers, and it's only going to return number 7. As for the string statement, it is also going to convert any function to a string. So if we were on to convert like something like a list into a string, we could easily do that with that function, and so on.
Okay, so today our activity is going to be a Pig Latin translator. So from our lab today, our goal is to translate English words into Pig Latin. To do this, there's multiple tasks. The first one is to get user input for an English word. So you want the user to just say like Python and you want it to replace the word in Pig Latin. So to do this, you have to replace every C with a K. And if the word is less than 3 letters, you just add an EN to the end. But if the word is greater than 3 letters, then you add a random vowel to the end. And then you just have to print the new word. So for example, in the results, enter a word Python. The result would be your word is Pythona, and that's a random vowel at the end. And now we're gonna do the code.
So let's begin our little lab. So at the top, we're gonna just make sure to write down pound key, and then we're gonna put lab, and then Pig Latin translator. Oopsie. So in the beginning, we want to start off a print statement by welcoming whoever is going to use it. So we're going to type in print, and we're going to put welcome to the Pig Latin translator. And just to be fun and cute, we're going to convert it into the same way that we're going to do it. So welcome. Welcome. We could just start writing different words. Okay. So to begin, we're going to do a while loop, but first we initialize the variable. And so to ensure that the while loop goes at least through once, first we're going to just do answer, and we're going to equal it to y, or capital Y. So that's to ensure that the while loop goes through at least once. So next we're going to start a while loop. So we're going to put while answer equals y, or answer, oh, apologies. You're supposed to do double equal signs for this one in capital Y. We're then going to put our input statement. So the input statement is going to ask the user what words they would like to translate. So for this one, we're going to put in a variable called word, and then we're going to put the input statement right there. And then we're going to ask them, please enter a word you would like to translate. And from here on, we're then going to work on how we're going to convert that word, whatever word they input. So we're going to type in new word, we're going to do a new variable, and we're going to do parentheses in the middle. And then we're going to start our for statement. So the for statement is basically going to change how we said initially. It's going to change any like C values into a K. So how we're going to do this is that we're going to put for letter in the word that they chose. Python recognizes the word letter above, and it's going to recognize that goes one by one. So if letter, and then just for the sake of ensuring that Python actually recognizes it, we're going to type in our other function called upper, and that's going to make sure that whatever they input comes in as upper. So it's going to convert, if they were to put a lowercase c, it's going to come out as, Python's going to recognize it as an uppercase c. And again, it is double equal signs. And then also, don't forget to put a little colon. So then we're going to put new word. And then we're going to put new word. And then because we want to change it to K, we're just going to change it to K. So it's basically going to take the word that we got, and it's going to replace all the C's in that word, and it's going to add K in it instead. So, but if they don't choose, but if there's no C, we're going to look for elsewhere. So what we're going to do is that we're going to see the else statement. So this is to ensure if only if it's not a C, if there's no C's in it. So this time we're going to use the new word, and then we're going to add new word, and then we're going to put letter. So what this is going to do is that's going to recognize exactly whatever word that we want to change into it. So we're going to next do length, which is going to be our length statement, or we're going to type in our little function, len, and then we're going to take the new word. And then from here on, we're going to be able to convert our word into whatever we want to.
Okay, so our next step is to see if how long the word is, and if it is less than 3 letters, then we want to add en to the end, and if it is greater than 3 letters, we want to add a random vowel to the end. So first off, let's do the last one, because that one is going to be a little bit easier. So if the word, which is with the length of the word, so you take length that you got from the last statement, length. If length is less than or equal to 3, then this is when we want to just add en to the end of the word. So you just take what we got from last time, new word equals new word, and then you just had to do plus en, and that should be pretty simple. However, if the word is going to be greater than 3, then we have to do a completely different thing and add a random vowel. So when you add something random, you have to add a random to the top. You have to import it so you can use the modules. So after importing random, then we can use a random anything. So else, this is if it's the word is greater than 3, we're going to choose a random vowel. But then you need to choose a vowel. So we need to create a word with all the vowels in it. So A, E, I, O, U are all the vowels. Oh, and then we can add a random choice from these vowels to the end of the word. So you can say new word equals new word plus random dot choice, and then you take a choice from all the vowels. So from that, it gets the random vowel and it adds that to the new word. So now you have your new word and you just want to print it out. So you would just do print, and then you would do word, because that was your original word, and then you can add a string is translated to, and then you can write your Pig Latin word, which is new word. And here you have printed out the new word. And now you have to ask the user if they would like to do another loop or they would like to do another word, and that would redo the while loop if the answer is yes. So to do that, you have to use answer because that's what you use up here. And answer equals input, because you want to get the user's input. Would you like to translate another word? And then here, the user will either put Y or N, and then from that, they will be able to either repeat the loop if they use Y, or end the loop and move on to these last print statements if they don't put a Y. So now you just want to tell your user, like, thank you for that the program is over, basically. So you would say, basically with just a goodbye, and then the user will know that it's over and they use the whole Pig Latin translator. So now we can run the program and just make sure everything works and see how the words translate. And now we would put Python. Python is translated to Python U. So this U is that extra vowel that we added here. Would you like to translate another word? Yes. Another word, let's just do a 3-letter word. So were. And then see how were is translated to weren't. So that's how you know your program works. And you can click N to not translate another word, and it says goodbye. That means the code works well. And that's the whole lab for today. So yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you guys.